best feeling in the world is when you've just come back home after a business trip, back to your loving boyfriend, who then makes you shit yourself. I'm not kidding.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
I wish I could start
Welcome
the
in,
stream.
Dark Lord. Congrats on being second. Nice. Thank you. Much appreciated. Hello. Hello, Psycho. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? God fucking damn it. You've been normal for 1 minute.
I kid you not. I am not joking. Before I will even go into this trip, I feel like I need to get this topic out of the way. Because, as some of you might have noticed, I wasn't there last week. Yeah, this is
30 minutes.
This is gonna be too much info.
I'm choking on my coffee.
I wasn't there last week because I was on a business trip, and I came back. When did I even come back?
Friday night.
Late Friday night. It was like 1 a.m. when I was there. So then on Saturday we were like, hey, it's been a while, let's go out for dinner together.
I was like that because I'm adorable and I missed her like hell.
Let's do some shopping, let's have dinner, you know, let's do nice things. So we went out for dinner Saturday afternoon. And after...
I would like to point out already, Tifa and I ordered the same dish.
Yeah.
And mine, it was a soup. Mine looked perfect. And Tifa's had a lot of oil. And I asked her, hey, your version of this dish looks really greasy. They gave her all like the aromatic spice oil. Are you cool with that? Because we could just tell a waiter, or we can like siphon it off, because your food is a different color than mine.
It was
It's
tasty.
the same dish.
It was very
but
tasty.
Anyway, Tifa was like, no, it's fine. It tastes delicious.
It's fine, all good. So after we were done eating, all was good. We start heading home because Jack didn't want to go shopping anymore. Jack should have been a gentleman and sucked the grease off the soup.
I would have done that. That's exactly what I offered her.
He actually would have done that, yeah.
Not suck it off of the soup, but, you know, anyway.
And I want to say from the restaurant to home, it's like roughly a 40-minute walk. And like 20 minutes in, my stomach starts bubbling. I'm like, okay, I think I really need a bathroom when I'm home.
And I ask, hey Tifa, I'm walking like arm in arm with her. I'm like, you're walking funny. Do your legs hurt? And she's like, no, I need to go to the toilet. And then I'm like, should we turn around?
We were halfway.
Because
There was no point turning around.
We're still kind of downtown-ish. I'm sure we can find a toilet.
We were halfway. If we turned around, it would have been the same distance as it would have to walk past home.
I'm just saying things to brace for impact. Carry on.
Take a break for 10 minutes. Yeah, you probably do.
Welcome in, Yaya. Welcome to what's most likely going to be the best part of the stream. Just saying.
This is going to be a lot of too much information. So I'm telling Jack this is not going to go well. So let's hurry home. So I probably start doing the waddling home already.
Tifa walked like a duck. And I matched her pace.
My stomach...
Because this is on you. You're not feeling well. Let's go as fast, as slow as you want.
My stomach really started to get upset, so I do the waddle home.
Like speed walking.
Like the speed walk.
If you've ever
waddle.
seen the episode of Malcolm in the Middle where, I forgot the name, the dad becomes a speed walker, like that kind of walk. That. Like a duck.
It was horrible, but I had full faith it would be okay. Like, we were almost there. Like, at some point we are in our street, at the end of a very long street, but still we're in our street, like we're getting there. And I want to say when we're like 3 minutes away from our house, like I can see it, the end is in sight, Jack goes straight in my stomach.
That's not exactly what happened.
That is exactly, and that's the moment I shat myself.
That's not exactly what happened.
That is exactly what happened.
No.
That's a first for everything. I have never had that in my life, and it was absolutely horrible. That's why I'm telling you guys.
I've shat myself in public twice, and I will tell you after this. I would have taken this to my grave. Nah, it's fine. Wait. So, Tifa and I are in a long relationship. And in a long relationship, things, mannerisms, come and go. For the last few years, we've been in the phase where we chop each other. I don't know where that started. I think it was in an anime that we watched. I don't
know. It doesn't really matter.
But it's a thing. I say something to like make fun of her, we're having a bit of banter, and then she goes, "Hi," and then she chops me in the belly. It's always in the belly area. It's always like straight from your elbow, diagonal down. And I do the same to her. I chop her a lot more because, believe it or not, outside of streaming, Tifa's the asshole, I'm the nice guy.
To be fair, the chopping is all good, but who thinks of chopping someone when they've said 5 minutes before that they're probably gonna have explosive diarrhea?
For the record, I want to point out...
Sorry, too much info once again.
You can't say that and tell the story. That doesn't work.
Yeah, we're already passed out.
For the record, Tifa didn't correct me on that. Just to keep in mind. So, we're walking and I'm trying to take her mind off of whatever's happening in this area of her body. So I'm talking to her, and I don't even know what we were talking about, but Tifa was being an ass to me. For funsies.
Because you were not helpful.
But still. And then I did the thing I normally would do in this situation. If Tifa is being an ass and she's making fun of me, I went, huh, and I chopped her. And as my, 75% through the chop, my face changed because I was thinking, this is not a great idea. If I was in her situation and somebody even so much as looked towards my stomach, I would kill them. Because I don't want to shit myself. But it was too late. All I could do was commit. If I now pulled away, I was probably gonna hit her worse. So my hand goes down and I hit her bonk on her belly. And for a moment, time stopped. You could feel...
That was the moment my life flashed before me.
You could feel the chopping part of my hand, this, touching her, and the force reverberating through her body. And then she started running.
This was the worst thing ever, and I really hope I will never have to experience this again. I was so close to home as well. Dark Lord, thank you so much for the research.
Thank you very much. Love.
Love. I don't feel in the state to say love right now.
You did this to yourself. If you hadn't been a prick, I wouldn't have chopped you. If you would have taken my expert advice, hey, there's something funky going on with your food, your stomach wouldn't have acted that way.
I am so going to remember this.
So you beat the shit out of her. In a way, yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
That was so embarrassing. That was absolutely horrifying.
Tifa, did I ever tell you the 2 stories of the 2 occasions I shat myself in public?
Well, now we're on the topic anyway.
No, have I or have I not?
I think you might have, but I don't recall.
Okay, press A. Okay, so you want to get to the story faster. So, the first time, I was a little kid.
I will never live this down.
I was 8 or 9, and we were on a trip towards the north, towards Denmark, I believe. And too late now, exactly. And my family always was yeah, the kid needs to go outside, we need to go to zoos and museums and stuff, which is really funny because they don't like going to these places themselves. So really, their idea of edutainment was to go to a zoo with me, which I didn't necessarily care about. I like animals, but it's cool, that's a bear, and then I walk on. It's I'm not the kind of person that looks at an animal in a cage for 30 minutes. Tifa can do that and not get bored. I get bored really easily. Not the point.
It depends on the animal.
So, we go to the zoo, we went there by car, and all is fine, we walk around for a bit. That's just how being in Saxony feels. Kind of. Kind of. Different issue though. So we're walking around a bit, eventually it gets like lunchtime and we go to the cafeteria we have at the zoo and we have some food. I had a schnitzel with some vegetables, some fries, all tasty, it was all good. We're walking around a bit and we're at like the most remote point of a park when I suddenly feel
the bubble.
There's the bubbles. There's gurgling sound in my stomach. And I was like 8. I never experienced this before. But I could tell...
At 8, you never experienced the bubble?
No. But I realized this isn't good. So I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. And my parents like, yeah, you just went earlier. Just suck it up. I mentioned before that my parents were great at parenting. So I'm like, well, if they say I just need to walk it off, I'll just walk it off, right? We keep walking the phantom thought. Wait. So we keep walking 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It happens again. I'm like, I really think I need a bathroom. They're like, it's still like a 10-minute walk from here. I'm not gonna run. Both of them said that in unisono. Eventually my sense kicks in and I start like running, but then my body forces me to run like a duck. And as I make it into the toilet, into the stall, it's like too late.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. So took off my pants, took off my underwear.
Ran around naked.
No. I was only too old for that. Thankfully, my pants didn't catch anything. I don't know how that happened, but it did. I was really lucky. And then afterwards, they were mad at me for not telling them that I need to go to the bathroom, because clearly this is my fault somehow. And then we left.
Yeah, seems about right.
Yeah,
but that's at least when you were young, not when you're 33.
The second time...
33!
The second time was in front of the entire school.
Yeah, but not, let me repeat, not when you're 33.
I was 19.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Spoilers, I just made that sound very dramatic. That's not exactly how it... Technically it happened that way, but not exactly. So, high school. High school is almost over. We're about to get our graduation papers, our diplomas, like the next, like 2 days from now. It's a miracle you're both still here, by the way. I have no shame. I mean, I have plenty of shame. But sometimes I feel like if I share these stories, somebody else has gone through something similar, and then we go, maybe I don't need to die from cringe. You know, everybody has these moments.
In the moment, it was extremely humiliating, but now saying it, I feel like I can just blame Jack for it.
Do you feel like you just dropped a load?
Well, I did yesterday.
Can confirm. So, it's the end of high school. We're about to get our diplomas, like 2 or 3 nights from now. I get a message from a girl I had a crush on. And she's like, hey, me and a couple people want to pull like an all-nighter, do like a little camping, fire kind of thing, reminisce, and then the next day, which was going to be the final day, go to school, do the stuff, get our diplomas, and then fuck off. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. So I go over, we all sit around a fire, it's getting late. Somebody has the glorious idea, is somebody getting hungry? Let's split a pizza. So they order a pizza. Salami, double cheese. I remember that, it was delicious. It was one of the best pizzas I ever had. So we all share the pizza, we share stories, we're having a great time. And we just chat and talk all through the night until it becomes morning, school starts. We have our final day at school. The diploma thing didn't happen until in the evening. I don't know why I thought that was gonna happen immediately. I knew the timeline, my brain blanked out. So we go to school, we go through the thing, and at some point I'm like, my stomach feels weird. But not in any way, shape or form that I ever experienced. It wasn't the bubbles, when you know I need a bathroom. And that girl now, Angela Merkel. No. I'm not that old. So I'm inside the chemistry room, for some reason I had to deliver something that we were helping clean up because we weren't gonna do any school on the last day of school. And I feel that way and I'm like, hey guys, do you still need me? And I was like, no, it's fine. And so I leave and I feel like I'm being stuck with a burning dagger in my abdomen.
When you get the intense pain stings.
And I start walking funny. I had to go through almost the entire school building. I go through the school building. I start heading home, relatively short walk, 5-10 minutes. Once I had left school, I was all alone. It was like middle of the day. Nobody was outside. I don't know how that happened, but it just did. Nobody was out in the streets. No cars were driving either. And at some point I'm like, this burning sensation keeps extending downwards.
How can you be 19 and be so bad at knowing these things?
I didn't feel like...
That's kind of...
I didn't feel like, you know, like, no, there was no stomach pains.
You just said it felt like a dagger.
Yeah, like a burning sensation, but not like I need to fart, I need to shit, I need to eat. You know, the usual stomach emotions I have. It was just a burning sensation slowly spreading south. So I'm on my way and at some point I remember on the street stopping and I'm like looking down because like, why is this heat extending? And then I realized that from my crotch down the back of my leg, my light blue jeans wasn't light blue anymore. Apparently, between leaving early evening to go to the campfire thing, sitting all night there, having that really greasy pizza, and not going to the bathroom at all since then, my body decided this stuff needs to come out, so I'm going to grant you with anal leakage. Because I didn't feel it coming out, but it did. There was evidence running down my pants leg. So I waddled the last stretch home, went inside, took everything off, excavated my bowels, threw my underwear away, threw my jeans away.
I'm wondering how the hell as well.
I don't know. I've never experienced this before. I never experienced this after. I don't know. I feel
like this is more than I signed up for with my shit story.
Yeah, you left out details. I didn't. Because you're a loser.
Skinner, congrats on being first.
Hello Skinner, congratulations. Happy Sunday. You came in at the worst moment, now the story's over.
So yeah, the crappy stories aside though, it was a lovely week. I took a bit of a detour when I arrived in the UK. Met up with Skinner and Benchima.
You can't do a segue on a dime like that.
Not make me shit myself. It was very nice meeting you guys. And I should have stayed longer.
Tifa just went, nope. Understandable. Completely understandable. You did that to yourself. I will repeat this until the day I die. You did this to yourself.
I would have made it if it wasn't for you.
You ate that. You stopped me from fixing the problem. You didn't want to go back find a bathroom. You were an ass and I chopped you.
So next way, I'm staying in the UK for a bit longer.
What? Next week?
Next time.
I doubt it. See, now I'm getting hiccups from
Just need to get another reason to go again.
My boyfriend made me shit myself in public. Is that not enough?
I'm not sure if my boss would sign for that, but maybe out of pure pity.
I think you'll need to explain the story again to somebody if you want to use that at work. I don't know your relationship with your boss. I wouldn't... I'm cool with my boss. I'm really happy with her. But I don't think I would tell her the story I just told all of you in the same details.
I mean, it depends. I don't really have a problem with that. I don't really have a limit when it comes, or lines when it comes to the things I discuss with my boss.
She's contemplating it.
No, I'm just thinking like if we ever hold a line somewhere, but I don't think so.
But that feeling is mutual, right? Because like hearing I don't have limits when it comes to my boss is like one step away from HR. And or you and I needing to have a serious conversation about the nature of our relationship.
I mean, it's nothing new. I've been working with my boss for 12 years almost now. I have watched Two Girls, One Cup with my boss. I have discussed almost every fetish you can find on the internet in detail with my boss. Like, there isn't a lot left, I want to say. So shitting myself is definitely under Two Girls, One Cup, I want to say. I could probably make some jokes about that.
I don't know, because it's you and not just a random stranger on a video makes it different. You know?
Probably. But I don't have a lot of feeling of shame, as might be evidence from all the crap I spout online and all the things I sometimes say.
I think I do have these feelings, but for some reason, the moment the camera is rolling, I'm more thinking, maybe people will laugh at that. I should tell the story just for that.
Then it's more entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, my wanting to entertain you is outweighing my feelings of shame. Thank you for that. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
So yeah, I probably will tell him. Nowadays, I have a second boss. I'm not sure if I would tell her already. Like, we're still...
You're not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet. Relationship is too fresh. Probably won't take long.
I think most relationships are too fresh for that. No matter how long they've been. At least in a professional setting.
But I have a performance talk with her on Monday, and the moment she asks me how did the UK go, I'll probably go like, good, until I went home. So who knows?
Until my boyfriend beat the shit out of me in the street. Second boss hasn't done the friendship rituals yet. There are steps to these things.
Leave it at that, please. Probably. But yeah, the trip itself was absolutely lovely. Would repeat. I had a great time.
Also,
wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
One last thing. I don't feel the need to defend myself, but I want to justify my actions further.
For what?
You left me here sick. So, karma.
Well, to be completely fair, I did not even plan on being sick. And I have not been sick and like sick in so long.
So and you plan on being sick?
I was even thinking about it. Like at the beginning of that week, before I was supposed to leave that Sunday, a colleague came sick to work and he was coughing his lungs out behind me. And I'm like, I should technically go home.
Yes.
But I can't because it's not allowed. My immune system is really good. I've been sitting in the train for weeks with sick people all around me. It's
licking the seats after they get out.
Basically, it's gonna be fine. My immune system can handle this.
Do you still need that hand railing, sir?
The next day, same story. I'm like, oh, why doesn't this dude just call in sick for fuck's sake? And I was like, you know what? It's still gonna be good. And then Wednesday, after stream, I was like, I think I'm gonna get sick. I'm getting sick. Please let me not be sick. And on Thursday I definitely had a cold, but I still had to finish some stuff.
Yeah, she did.
Stuff for work, but it was 100% sick. Then on Friday I called in sick at work. And I was like complaining about my colleague that got me sick, and they were like, oh yeah, he called in sick today too. I'm like, why couldn't you call in sick before? Gonna have a talk with him on Monday.
Tell him the shit story.
I'm gonna
tell him the story of how he made you shit your pants in public.
Absolutely. Yep. But fortunately, I went through it like...
by Sunday morning. Yeah, and then I had it.
Level. Like on Sunday, I felt completely good again, with the exception that my nose didn't stop running. and it hasn't stopped running until I want to say like last Thursday or Friday.
Would you say yesterday when your body liquids went the other way?
So that's the only thing that took forever, which I've never actually had. That's usually gone the moment I feel good again. But yeah, it was timed so well. I was so happy I was good on Friday again, or on Sunday again, because you had no idea how much I was looking forward to the trip. Not just to meet with Skinner and Benjima.
Do you see how she's leaving me out of this equation? I was so happy I could leave on Sunday. Yeah, fuck Jack and his immune system and him feeling like shit for days.
But yeah, unfortunately, I passed on whatever it was. I was even nice enough to sleep on the couch. Like, I stayed on the couch. I tried to not get you sick.
Yeah, you failed. Who's Jack? The guy on the screen that doesn't look like her.
I can't see you on any of the pictures I have with Skinner and Benjamin.
Don't make me chop you again when your stomach is like this. Because next time it will be on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. Versus this time it was accidentally on purpose.
Jack's gonna Photoshop himself in. Just wait for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the back of a corner somewhere, looking through a window.
So yeah, all went well until that fateful day yesterday. Feels like so long ago already.
Worst manzai bitte. What is a manzai?
But now we're back, and I don't think I have to travel again for another month. So we're good on that.
So you're leaving us again? How do we ever get like Higurashi done with you continuously finding excuses to not be here?
I still have a couple of trips planned. To Poland, Spain and Germany.
A trip to Germany.
Well, within Germany.
Now it's out. We're not actually in Germany. I just always say that for funsies, I guess. That's super. We get it done when Tifa does the recap. That is actually a beautiful idea if Tifa is willing to do that.
That is actually not a good idea.
Thank you for the help with the segue, Dark Lord. Beautiful.
Had segue already, don't worry. The last
You know what's great about stalling really hard? Is when Tifa can then do the recap.
Yeah.
I can't give you a 4 for 10, but you know I had 3.
Well, the last time we played Higurashi,
We finished the story of chapter 5.
Oh yeah, true. We still need to do the credits and the after party thing, I believe, no?
And a what if scenario.
True. We had an option at some point. The last time we played Higurashi, we were at the part where Keiichi and Reina went to Mion's house to confront her on all her serial killing behavior and all of that stuff.
They went through the whole bit again where Shion, now as Mion, pretending to be the other Mion, who's actually Shion, was doing the whole yes, I'm the heiress to the Sonozaki Empire, ask me your questions. They go through this, then she takes Keiichi to the torture room, zaps him, wants to torture him, but then he reminds her so much of Satoshi in his pleas to be merciful on Mion, who's actually Shion, that she just knocks him out with a taser. And
no, she was going to start torturing him, but the police started ramming on the door and was about to enter, so she decided to just taser him while she made her escape.
Yes, that's what I said.
No, it's not. It's an important detail.
Don't make me. Don't make me chop you again. I just realized this is also like the motion of like backhanding somebody. That's the wrong energy. That's not what I meant to do. Only chops in this household. Then we get to experience through Shmion's eyes what happens during her escape. She sets free her sister, swaps clothing with her so that she can get away. And after having one final conversation about Satoshi, where Mion tells her, you never let me finish my conversation with you. I don't know that Satoshi is dead. Like, I've looked for him. I've asked our grandmother. There is no evidence that we did anything to him. He is just vanished. He could have gone somewhere. We do not know. We had nothing to do with it as far as we know.
Not just that though, Shion admits that all of the murders and disappearances, according to her grandmother, had absolutely nothing to do with them.
They just took the credit.
Was just taking the credit to seem all powerful and good, and that they have no idea what's going on.
But then main character Shmion goes, no, you're lying, fuck you. By the way, you die here, that's your punishment. Zaps her, she falls down the well and is dead. And then she gets away. However, you don't really go through all of these things without that leaving a number on your psyche. So a few days later the story picks up again from Shmion's perspective, and she is having full-on conversations with the ghost of her dead sister, to the point where they're both starting to speak through her throat. So she is like talking to herself as Mion versus Shion. She decides she needs to get away from this all. She cannot go through the door because the ghost of her now dead sister is trying to get into the apartment.
No, she already was, but she locked herself up on the balcony.
Yeah, true.
And if she would get out through the main door, her sister would find her, so she would escape over the balcony.
So she turns into Chinese Gollum from Shenmue 1 and just jumps from her balcony to the others and then climbs down the building. And she goes, she has gone full insane at that point. I will take my revenge on Shion. So she decides, well, I told you I would take everything away from you. You had owned up to the fact that you fell in love with Keiichi. So now I go murder him. So that's what she does. She gets on her motorbike, which she has around still, drives to his place. They have her moment where she's downstairs. He comes down, he brings her the doll to apologize. Then she just stabs him. Because I did it, Shion. Fuck you, I killed him.
So yeah, she stabs him, runs back off to the apartment, wants to get back into her room the same way over the balcony, and slips.
Yes.
Does not fully fall to her death as she lands on...
Like a secondary roof kind of thing. I don't understand the layout of the building, but she only fell 5 of the 8 floors.
Yeah, I'm guessing it wasn't like straight, but like one of those things that like build up towards the side.
I guess. And as she lays there with blood coming out of her head already because she fell on her head, suddenly it's all gone. Like she has a moment of clarity and she realizes what she's done and she's sorry for everything she's done, and the voices are gone and she is finally herself again for a moment.
Yeah, we go through some sort of hallucinations where she's going through the what if scenarios, which was really sad.
Which kick in as she decides it's over. There is no coming back from this. And she, on purpose, rolls over that roof to her final destination. That's when she's having these thoughts, and that's when we get a really cute what-if scenario where Shion has joined a school in Hinamizawa. She's taking care of Satoko as she had promised Satoshi.
It was...
And then it's over.
By far the best chapter of the entire series so far.
Best written, best paced, most impact.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how the rest will go from here, because this is gonna be a bit hard to top, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it counts.
It's a pumpkin Satoko, the squash, yes. They were having an argument about her needing to eat healthier.
Yeah, even though I feel like a lot of things from chapter 2 got answered, it also comes...
We have so many more questions.
It also comes with new questions, like...
Yeah.
But then, if the grandmother was not lying, who done it? Because the coincidence of someone disappearing and being murdered on Watanagashi is also too big of a coincidence for someone to not be behind it.
And just because...
Why does Rika know about it?
Just because the hack doesn't know doesn't mean it wasn't the Sonozakis.
Yeah, but if the hack doesn't know, why does Rika know?
Because Rika is Oyashiro-sama reincarnated and has somehow the ability of premonition.
I guess, but the question now is still, was she lying? Was she not? Was Mion or Shion just trying to save herself in that moment by coming up with this?
Was it all in her head? Was it her upbringing? Was it the stress? Was it the trauma? All of it just getting too much? And this is how she made sense out of it all? I don't know.
Yeah, there's still a lot more to now figure out.
Yes, and we unlocked some tips, which I think is the first time we got tips after the credits rolled. We still have the all-cast review thing, and because we're playing with 07 mod, for the console re-release, there is a split in the timeline near the end, where one, you get the story as it was in the original PC version, which is what we did first, because that's how the story is supposed to play out. But there's also a what-if scenario if Shion would have made a different choice.
I don't know who said it, but that what-if scenario apparently takes a while, if I recall correctly. I say we do the credits first,
Yes.
or the credit note thingies first. Then we do the what-if scenario, or the tips first, then the what-if scenario, and then completely finish it with the after party.
Yes.
I think that makes the most sense in order.
That sounds like a plan. I saw a slug. That's good luck. I like slugs. Slugs are weird creatures, but I think they're kind of adorable.
They can be cute.
They look a lot like me when I'm naked and wet. Did I say
I'm
that?
not gonna... I'm not even going to answer that. Oh, wow, that is mean, Skinner.
Don't salt snails and slugs. Which, funnily enough, I remember Skinner and I having conversations about Bomberman Heroes on N64. I played that off stream a little while ago because I want to see maybe if it's something for on stream. There are slug enemies later. Spoilers for Bomberman Heroes. There are slug enemies later on, but you can only kill with salt, and it looks slightly too realistic for a game like that for kids.
I did not want to know that.
Oh well. Good thing we don't get Bomberman games anymore, really. Not that many, at least.
For that reason.
No, I doubt it. It's because most people don't buy them. Tifa, are you ready?
Can I press the button?
Yes, you can. Fuck Konami. Always. Always and
Yeah,
forever.
but not the snails.
We had unlocked a happy diary and disowned.
Go for it.
Love Bomberman Hero.
Good. So this seems to be after they found her body.
Yeah. Yes, when... Where did my voice go there suddenly? Yes, when Mr. Kasai broke in, the room was empty and the window leading to the balcony was open. That was when she fell. She hit the elevator housing right beneath, which gave her concussion.
That was the elevator housing.
Then she rolled off the roof and hit the ground, killing her. The reason Mr. Kasai didn't find her, even though he suspected her suicide, is that she was on the elevator housing at that time, unconscious. Keiichi Maebara was stabbed at about the same time. Was Shion Tsunezaki unconscious on the roof then? Okay, that's the issue. Her dying and him being stabbed happened at basically the same time.
Around the same time. But it doesn't take forever for her to go back, and in the time it took her to go back up.
Plus she had a motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like, let's say a half an hour time frame, that works out.
Yeah. I guess the question is, at about the same time, how big is that window? Also, why did I do the detective? I need to be Oishi. You'll be the detective from now on.
Oh, you already started the detective. Fine, I'll be the detective.
I doubt it. She must have snuck out of a building, stabbed Keiichi, and accidentally fell when she came back. Doesn't that sound right? Now, would you look at the neighboring balcony again?
Ooishi-san, you've got a call on line 3.
Who is it from?
Sato, apparently. He says the password is Ron.
Hello, Sato-san. You must have some good news.
An informant got in contact with me and you were right after all.
Thank you. I'll buy a drink on Flower Road.
What was that call about? A Mayong invitation?
Bingo! The Sonozaki sisters switched places. Mion is Shion and Shion is Mion. They made a mistake when they were supposed to tattoo the successor. So Mion and Shion are swapped around in this notebook. So when Satoshi-kun and Shion-san... No, Mion-san. This is confusing.
But wait. How did they... Oh wait, they got the notebook. I was gonna say, how did they know that they swapped? And how did the other person now actually find out?
They know from the notebook. That's why it's called a notebook.
Yeah, but Oishi has the notebook.
Can you please appreciate the genius of my wordplay first?
I mean,
it was spontaneous, but I thought it was pretty good.
Sure.
4 out of 10. Okay, I'll take it. I take
Genius.
it. I expected worse.
Yeah, but Oishi has the notebook.
Mhm.
So even if he would say, then he would go to his informant and goes like, hey, in this notebook it says they were swapped around. How is the informant going to find out? Even the family doesn't know that they are swapped around. Where is he going to get the info from that they are swapped?
I don't know.
All they have is that notebook to go off on.
Maybe if we get to press A, we'll get it. Wouldn't be the first time. This is confusing. Anyway, with that, you gain a clear understanding of our relationship.
Are you talking about the mysterious notebook you received the other day? Didn't you say it was all mumbo-jumbo that could possibly confuse the case?
Even after switching the names, it's still confusing. I don't know how much of a content I can trust. Even if this is true, Rikafuru's death seems very suspicious.
It's the diary of a lunatic. It drove me nuts when I read it. You know this line on the last page about how she's sorry for being born? It makes me want to jump out the window.
That's kind of insensitive to say, especially after you know what happened.
You can make jokes about a serial killer.
Even so, this is a happy diary.
A happy diary?
Do you know how many times Satoshi-kun's name appears in this notebook? Shion-san really loved him, but because she was so young, a few mistakes caused that love to be misdirected. Man, that line. Which one? I'm sorry for being born? Or the it was misdirected? So I hate this music in the tips menu after all we've seen. The letter. Yeah, fair.
Must have been an interesting read though.
We read most of it.
Yeah.
Disowned.
Hey Mom, tell me, why did you have a fight with the hag? It's the first time we see the mother. It was bad enough that she disowned you, right?
Okay. Alright. I like the console art the best too. Remake also looks nice. I can't get over Kasave, he looks like the main bad guy. I'm shocked that in the original art she doesn't do the Higurashi lean. You know, the fully arched back.
No, the remake is definitely the best version so far.
Console.
Or the console one.
Makes me like Ooishi much more, even after everything he's still understood. Yeah, I feel like, at least with this version of Ooishi, with most versions of Ooishi, it's like these things are happening and I need to investigate why and there are bad things that are happening, but people are doing them. and I can try to understand people. I might not agree with what they're doing, in the case of these murders especially, but I can try to understand why they came to that conclusion and what led them to this point.
That's kind of part of his job.
Yeah, but you can be understanding and sympathetic about the plight of somebody's suffering, so they do these horrible things. Or you could be cold about it, or you could just be very, I don't know, stoic in your stance and go, no, this was not righteous, and I do not condone this behavior. Yeah.
You're so nosy about everything. Well, I guess you're old enough to know. She objected when I told her I wanted to marry your father. Eh? What? I was living a very unseemly life back then. Then the man I brought home was a Yakuza. So of course she got terribly upset. She said, the head of the family will choose your fiancé. And I said, screw your decisions, you fucking virago. So then we both tried to cut each other down on the spot.
What's a virago? Am I even allowed to say that word?
That doesn't really say anything. A virago is a woman who demonstrates abundant masculine virtues.
A manly woman. Really?
Oh, so me.
Apparently.
Wow, you agreed. You agreed.
So I could either fight you on how you choose to describe yourself, or what?
I was bringing back past traumas.
I saw no winning moves, so I decided to agree with you. And now we can go, no, Tifa, that's not how you are. You are very feminine. When you're not shitting yourself on the street.
Yeah, that's it.
An old-timey word for a bitch. Domineering, violent, or bad-tempered woman. Why not just say Tifa? Okay, we learned a new word today. Thank you for adding to my abundance of loquaciousness.
I'm barely often, or barely never, bad-tempered.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that phrase and please explain what barely never means to you?
Well, only when you do shit.
Because barely never means a lot.
Yeah, when you do shit.
I'm not the one that shot on the street.
I was waiting for that.
Maybe minimize your usage of that word. Sorry. Oh wait, I should click back in the game.
We unsheathed our katanas in the living room and clashed and slashed and sliced. Pink? You fought that hack with a sword? Way to go, Mom! Well, I was into martial arts when I was young. Both she and I held high ranks in kendo, so yes, it was quite the show. Everyone nearby was terrified. That was fun. I see. So is that why you were disowned? That's right. I was happy for it. I married your father right away. Well, I was forced to remove my fingernails in atonement, though. Ah, that seems to be a family standards. See how the fingernails of my left hand look ugly? I need to Google what your fingernails look like after you've pulled them off.
In incognito mode on your phone.
Like, doesn't that just grow back normally over it?
Also, holy shit, Tifa has grown nails. I am so proud of you.
I know.
Thank you. See, if you had shown me that before, I wouldn't have made you shit yourself.
I'd advise not to.
Yes.
I am gonna Google that.
I like that this means they weren't a Yakuza family until she got married. Yeah, so if you want, it's Akane's fault.
Well,
If even Skinner says no, it must be bad.
which is even more reason to do so. Whoa, so that's why you and the hack have a bad relationship, huh? I'm just assuming she's younger here.
Yeah.
You know what, Shion? That's not actually true. Our relationship is actually pretty good. What? That can't be right. She has to maintain the family's reputation. so she can't treat me normally. And accordingly, I lay low at the family councils. But I visit her every now and then and we have tea together. I can't believe it. This is just between you and me, okay? She removed her fingernails in a toner a long time ago herself. Look carefully at her hand the next time you see her. What? What did she do? Beats me. I don't have a clue.
Nipa?
Hey, you do so have one. It's all over your face. Tell me. So family traditions, basically.
What? We don't even get a clue?
It's happened to me, it just grew back normal. Well, I think the difference is if like your nail just falls off. And if you pull it off with trauma, that probably leaves different scarring issue.
I recommend just not doing any of that if you don't have to.
Because I do know, I might have actually said that before already, my friend's toenail, or my friend's toe once got stuck in something and her toenail fell off. And she sent me pictures afterwards of her toe without the nail on it.
I remember that.
Because she was like, oh, I'm sure you'd be happy to see this, which I really was. But I know that grew back perfectly fine. But that wasn't like... Which is, I'm guessing, a different story?
Like, it's fine, but if you hit Google Images straight away, you'll probably stumble across the actual removal images, which don't look great. The actual nail bed is fine, it's just the removal process.
Oh, that's alright. I'll try still Google it.
On your own device, and preferably in incognito mode.
No, you'll be good.
Remind me to keep my phone away from Tifa.
What's this?
This is the staff room, which I believe is the post-credit thing.
Wait, well, how did this come? Because we were...
Because I clicked on it. It's where last time the all-cast review thing was in.
I thought we were gonna do the what-if scenario first.
No, you said we do this first.
No.
Oh, too late.
I said the tips first, then the what-if, and finish off with the casting.
I made an editorial choice. I think I called it Cardor.
Oh yeah, that's painful.
Watch Tifa pulled up midstream and hit screen share in OBS. That's not enabled, so that wouldn't work. Unfortunately. What a shame.
Unlike someone else, I don't actually show traumatizing pictures on stream.
It was pictures of spiders.
Yeah, exactly.
After I said I would show pictures of spiders.
You gave like a half a second warning.
That is true, and I haven't done it since. I've learned my lesson.
I'm just saying it's not me who does that.
Now, do you think that murder can be justified depending on the motive?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Ryukishi07. Thank you for playing Higurashi When They Cry Kai, Chapter 5, Meakashi. Avoid depict many deaths in... I was thinking I said depths for some reason. Avoid depict many deaths in my work, I often ask myself a question. That question is there such a thing as justifiable murder? In our world, murder is prosecuted and the degree of punishment varies depending on the motive and the circumstances. Having different degrees of punishment means that we are putting a value on the dead person's life. Sometimes scenes justify murder in Higurashi. By degrading the life of a victim in those scenes, the players can sympathize with the characters more easily. The degree of sympathy would be different from person to person. The people who could sympathize probably felt catharsis, and the people who disagreed with a character might have felt uncomfortable. That's indicated by how opinions were polarized regarding Keiichi's actions in Tatarigoroshi. In Meakashi, there are also a number of murders. But this time the main character Shion tries to earn sympathy for each one of them. How did you feel? How much were you able to sympathize with her? If you couldn't sympathize with her at all, then please berate her as a crazy murderer. If you sympathized with her at all, then please have mercy on her. If you sympathized with her almost entirely, then please have mercy on her.
And on yourself.
If you completely sympathized with her, then please let us berate both of you as crazy murderers.
Lol.
What about me? Well, that's a secret. I'd like to reverse my question this time. What kind of murderer could you sympathize with if you were to be killed? A murderer who doesn't care about people's lives? That would be quite a regrettable death. It's extremely sad to be killed in denial of all your values. A murderer who begs for forgiveness in tears? That would be quite regrettable too. They shouldn't kill you at all if they're begging you forgiveness. So what kind of murderer could you sympathize with? In the end, sympathy might be just a method for making some story more interesting. If you can sympathize, it's fun. If you can't sympathize, they're just crazy. We cannot put value on human life. It's a sin to even try doing so. A murder is a murder. Nothing more than that. I just hope everybody can live happily together. How does that sound? Would you agree to that? If you wouldn't. Thank you very much for playing Higurashi When They Cry Kai, Chapter 5, Meakashi. I could only bring out this 5th episode thanks to all of your support. Higurashi will only get more intense as it approaches the finale. Nothing would make me happier than if you continued reading the chapters to come. The next chapter will be titled Tsumi Hoboroshi. I hate Japanese words that are long.
Horoboshi.
Tsumi Horoboshi. Really, I'm rather fortunate if you've enjoyed yourself even a little. Thank you again for playing. I hope this has brought a little color to your life. Our 7th expansion, Ryukishi 7. That was awfully short.
Well, I think we will still get the after party. This was just like an author's note.
Tsumi Horoboshi. It's okay if you want to horo. Atonement. Oh. It's justifiable when I do it. If it's justifiable when I do it, I mean if I do. Reading is hard. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I think in a sense I agree with the author. I mean, I disagree on the you can't put value on a life. I think I can, but to me it's. I wanted to say it's always the same value, but I'm lying. That would just not be the case. Like, I feel like there's a difference between, let's say, somebody goes outside, somebody doesn't pay attention to a red light, hits them with a car, they die. That's horrible, that's a tragedy. I hate that.
But that's not murder.
It's the death of somebody, you caused the death.
Yeah, but that's pure accident. Like, there's a very...
You got drunk and willingly got into the car.
Oh, did you say drunk?
No, I didn't. I'm adding that.
Oh, I'm just saying. I thought you just said that someone just crossed a red light and got hit by a car.
Okay,
like, that's very different.
Fine. You got drunk. You decided, I'm a good... Fuck you, by the way, if you do that. Got in the car, hit somebody, they die. I want to say that's murder. Manslaughter, I don't care about the legal definitions. To me, it's murder. You did something on purpose that got somebody killed.
There I can agree with. Not with your other example.
Yeah, that's what I'm changing. Get with the program. I feel like that's a tragedy, and I have no sympathy for the person who committed that crime. And then you have things like, I don't know, people trying to kill Hitler. And it's like, I don't like that you decided it needed to be done, but I agree with you with how you came to the conclusion that it had to be done. So I understand why you tried.
Yeah, but that means that's a case where it's justified, if you ask me. I think there are plenty of cases where you can justify murder. Also, if you look at certain self-defense cases, I think you can say they are justified, if you ask me.
I feel like that's why we have all of these different legal definitions, like manslaughter and stuff. and like
first degree,
first, second,
degree.
whatever degree. I never quite understood those, but that's not the point. Like I feel like we have all of these words to try to make sense of it, because while everybody agrees killing somebody ain't good, we as a society usually understand that there are layers to this. There are degrees which need to be looked at and considered as different things, if possible.
Yeah, you have it was self-defense, but he did end up with 18 slashes or stab wounds, which you can't really call self-defense then anymore.
Can you not, though? I get it. I get it. But you are at home. You are at home with a person you love. Somebody breaks into the apartment and does something horrible to the other person. In the heat of the moment, as you try to get help, as you try to get out, you get a hold of a knife. And all of your emotions unload on the person who just did that to you and your family.
Fair. Rage.
Like, I don't think my body would be like, oh wait, I need to stop stabbing because if I go over 7, it's murder, and before that, it's manslaughter.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking of a thing that I just witnessed you do to me. You know? So, yes. Yes and yesn't. Yes, but no.
It's a hard topic, but I do agree with the general, is there justified murder? Yes. I think there is.
I will forever be a pacifist at heart. I want to say no, but I cannot. Not in this question, because I feel like I would be lying. Because, again, let me take this away from me, let me put this again on humanity as a whole. Basically, every country I'm aware of has a military. And every military has jobs where it's like, take out this target. So, as humanity, we have all kind of come to agree murder is bad, killing other people is bad. But there are cases where we will train people to do horrible things, and then we will send them across the planet if we need to do those things to a person. Do I necessarily agree with those things? No. But everybody got to that point. Do you know what I mean? Like when the USA sent, I think it was SEAL Team 6, to go after Osama bin Laden, a lot of people celebrated that.
Yeah, but that's kind of the example you gave with if you could kill Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, then it's just something that falls under acts of war. And it's like a completely different story.
Yeah. And then you have a layer of vigilantism when people just go, I am justice. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why Batman as a concept, I think, is not good.
Yeah. I think which show is really good to watch, where you can have those dilemmas, is Invincible. No spoilers.
Invincible is a good show.
No spoilers for the show, but it is... When it comes to superhero shows, it is definitely one of the best. It's on, I think, only on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And it is such a good show. Do not watch with children, by the way.
Yes, it's not for kids.
But especially like the further you get into the seasons, it starts to ask the same sort of questions.
It becomes very mature.
Yeah, and they've done it really well. We even had the discussion this morning when we finished season 3, I think. We watched like the last 2 episodes with breakfast. And it does bring up talks like this. Yeah. I don't want to give too many spoilers. I was thinking of talking about it, but I'm not going to go into more detail. Absolutely watch it if you haven't, by the way.
I guess a lot of orphans in windows.
There's a lot of orphans in windows.
Widows felt a bit relieved. Yes. I feel like that is, in a sense, subjective, though, because all over history and all over the world, people are doing horrible things to other people. And then other people will celebrate these things on both sides of the issue. And like violence begets more violence.
Wasn't the best example what's his name? Luigi
Mangione. Well, first of
Who
all, he
shot
hasn't been
the
convicted
CEO?
yet. Allegedly, he did this. But
I was with him that day.
assuming he did, the amount of people celebrating him is we should look at that issue. We should also look at what he has done, allegedly. But we also need to look at why people are celebrating this. Because
yeah, but that is the
issue is bigger.
I think that's the best current example of is murder justified? Because I want to say three-quarters of the planet feels it's justified.
Yeah, because it's hot. No, not because it's hot. I think it helps some people feel sympathy to somebody attractive, but I believe the issue is bigger than that. Because there are people in control of things like your health for money. And they will find ways to make more money. And that might mean that you will die. You might not get the treatment you need because of money that they clearly have. The people at the top making these decisions are millionaires, sometimes billionaires. Is that how it should be?
Do I agree with his point? I'm going to be honest and say yes. Do I also believe that him being hot helps his case? Absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Because I think we've had this discussion so often. These things in life, especially if you are a criminal, it's easier when you're hot. Fair is fair. You will be able to get away with more things because you're hot. And I'm not talking about murder now, by the way.
The victim screwed people over so he could have a fancier mansion. My empathy is limited. That is my stance as well.
But that's also why so many people celebrate what he allegedly did. Because the guy that now got shot, I forgot his name already.
Killed thousands of people. Not killed in the sense that he took a gun to their temple and pulled the trigger. But
his decisions caused more victims than his death.
Yes, and it's a lot. Schreibtischtäter, that's a beautiful word we have in German for it. Yes,
that sums it up.
A desk criminal, I guess. Yes, Josh Johnson had a I think wonderful comedy. Technically, it's comedy because people laugh, but it makes you think. I think at least. Josh Johnson had a beautiful bit about this whole situation. It's like if you think about it that way. I'm trying to paraphrase what he said. He does it better. Look it up. The people in charge of these healthcare organizations, they are murderers, but they do it in a way that is somehow okay. And if you get good enough at it, you'll become the CEO. And then you get to come up with rules about why other people will get denied healthcare or treatments or whatever. And then you get a bonus based on how many people you didn't spend money on. But it's not, you didn't spend money on it, yes, but it's not that you didn't spend money on it. You didn't spend money on it because these people didn't get treatment. And how do you expect hundreds of thousands of people to feel bad about the death of one person when everybody has stories of how their family members, they themselves, were in a situation where they got declined for treatment because their healthcare provider was like, it's not necessary. How many people had to die because the healthcare organizations went, nah, no money in it. What about them? This is all shit. It all sucks.
Well, that's why the world is, I want to say divided, but I think the majority of people, or it's just because of the part of the internet I'm on, was, I was going to say in favor, alright, did not condone what he did. I lost thought while I was saying that.
We live in a time where people in power spend a lot of time, money and effort to try to make the people that have less than them fight each other rather than against them.
Well, yeah, that's how you can keep going.
Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Eat the rich or tax them. Preferably tax them, and if that doesn't work, then eat them.
Same with Jeremy Meeks. Don't think he killed anyone, but he committed crimes as part of a gang. Yeah, I just had to Google him for a second, and that's this dude. I just opened him.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when his mugshot went viral on the internet, and he now has a modeling career. He's an actor. I think he also turned into fashion design. I'm not 100% sure.
I know.
Fashion model, actor. Oh no, just that. But he now lives in a mansion.
Exactly, the guy, I guess. Yeah, everybody knows that story.
And earns plenty of money.
I hope he has become a better person. Just saying. Like, I feel like you do something bad, you go to jail, and you've done your part. You've wasted your time away in a jail. Hopefully you've done something else with the time, or that you were given the chance to do that. But I hope you actually reformed as a person.
Well, that should be the whole purpose of prison.
Yes, and I feel like sometimes I have a hard time with that as well. Like, somebody goes to jail for something horrible they've done, they'll always be labeled that. But that happened, let's say, like 15 years ago. 15 years is a lot of time. It doesn't undo what you've done. It doesn't undo what you've done, but at some point, like, if I'm not willing to accept you as a part of society, why punish you to begin with? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but a lot of people awfully always look at the, I hope he rots in there, hope something happens, maybe he gets killed. If he gets out, he'll just repeat his mistakes and goes back in, which I think I remember looking at the statistics of American prison once. Don't know how it is in the rest of the world, with the exception of the Scandinavian bits, because I know there the numbers are really good. That I think it was like 80% or 90% of people will commit crimes again.
Wait, no, stop. I gotta stop you there. I think you just disabled that entire argument. I get it. You have a point. The point I'm trying to make is jail can work.
I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just
if
people...
there's countries where the rehabilitation rate is in the, 80%, I think, or something like this, then clearly the concept works. If every other country in the world fucks it up and people fall into a life of crime, they go to jail, they come out, they keep doing it, then the system is broken, not the people. Maybe the people are, but the system isn't helping them.
Yeah, but a lot of these prisons are privately owned. It's a money industry.
Yes,
like,
of course.
It's not made for trying to reform you or rehabilitate you, which I think, at least in the Scandinavian area, it definitely is, because there the numbers of repeat offenders are really low.
Yes, so they're doing jail properly, if you ask me.
I think there are certain things which should have never been allowed to be privatized, such as healthcare.
Healthcare, justice, rehabilitation, energy, public transport. Yeah, can think of a couple.
Healthcare being the biggest one. Like, that should never have been a private.
Yeah, housing, water, air. Yes. The list is relatively long. Like,
I think that's where we messed up as a society. Allowing that to go into the private sector. Yeah,
after the French Revolution, we all put the guillotines away too soon. Should just left them out a little bit longer. Like, hey, remember? Good. Don't make me get it out. Tifa, we have successfully in record time finished all of the official post-game stuff.
I'm a little bit surprised there isn't another after party.
The same, but it doesn't exist. That's it.
I guess because it's not an official chapter. Wasn't this like an in-between thing?
No, that was chapter 4.
Oh, fair. Well, then I have no clue why there isn't an after party.
That's what it is. So we need more communism. We need less greed. Call the new system whatever you want, but also maybe just don't have it that you can be a billionaire. Like once you reach 9999999 on your account, just get a trophy that you won, and then the rest goes to society. You know?
You log into your bank and you get this achievement.
Yeah. Congratulations, you won. There.
You won life.
Yeah, you are rich, and now please pay back to society. Because all the money you made came from somewhere. It's doubtful that you did all of that work by yourself. Maybe start with the people that work for you. Just a suggestion. Now, very sure that the current crimes aren't even prosecuted for ideological reasons.
Not enough deterrence.
Wow.
The system can be messed up.
It's because we all can't agree on a justifiable murder. It's all messed up, and I hope that in my lifetime we will get to a place in most of the world where it's like, okay, so we've done these things, they clearly didn't work out that well, let's try to improve upon them. Let's not just keep the same system going.
That's not happening. I really want to talk about the ending of the Invincible season 3.
But we are not going to.
Because that fits so well, and no, I'm not going to, but it's another reason if you haven't watched it, to please watch it.
How about, Tifa, you and I, we're going to take a short break before we do the what-if scenario of Meakashi, while all of you quickly watch all of Invincible.
Yeah, that sounds like a good
You have roughly 3.5, 4 minutes.
BRB. So we are back.
We are! So, Tifa, remember when...
No.
Exactly. Remember when in chapter 14 we were at this point in the game?
No.
Cool, read the line and we can get back into it.
No, but where was this?
This is Shion
Just before...
Shmion about to start torturing Keiichi.
But where's the choice?
After this.
Okay. It's very weird to just go into it like this.
Well, yeah. It's always weird because either you go the wrong way first or you go the right way after. Either way, you're gonna end up back at the fork in the road. Or you want to redo the entire chapter.
No, I don't think I'll be doing that either.
Exactly. So stop your complaining.
Can you hear it, Shion? I'm going to get started now. Savor Keiichi's fresh creams to your heart's content. No, you have to go to... At that time, I became aware of Keiichi's gaze.
Oh yeah. Gaze. Not case. I think you have to read the line.
At that time, I became aware of Keiichi's gaze.
Give it a fucking rest.
Keiichi's growl resounded from the pits of his stomach. What a delightful sound. It was like he wanted to rip me apart. Awake at last, are we? I lied to you before, you know. About having wanted to give Shion the most miserable death of all, but locking her up because I hadn't thought of a good way yet. That was a lie. I smiled menacingly as I laid out the huge nails and hammer specially made for the nail table. I'll kill her, but only after her soul drowns in the screams of the many people who died because of her. Wouldn't that be poetic?
It's a lie. No, it's not. Who are you?
Huh? I'm Mion. Mion Sonozaki. Did the fear drive you out of your mind?
No, you're not. There's no way you can be Mion Sonozaki.
My hand stopped dead in its tracks. Kei-chan? Shit. I decided it would be too late once we reached Shion's cell. So the name-guessing game is already over. Oh well, whatever. Bring it on. I'll listen to you. This is your last chance. Oh yeah. Then if I'm not Mion, who am I? Come on, Kei-chan. Guess who I am. Try and save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you. And then I heard it. I most definitely heard it. Keiichi's mouth trembled as he spoke the words, yet his eyes shone with a strong conviction. And he spoke the truth.
You're Shion, aren't you?
Wow. You're right. You actually won. You're amazing, Kei-chan. A strange feeling fills my chest as I shiver. I had convinced myself there was no way he could guess. But he did. And I couldn't help feeling a bit surprised. This Keiichi had yet again pierced through my disguise. Okay, so we go the way where...
I didn't read this part. This is added by the mod we're using.
You only get it then.
It's not fan fiction, it's added to the PC version which we're playing from the console release, I believe. You aren't Mion. Give me back the Mion. Sorry, whenever I read the word whom, it does something to my brain. Wow, Tifa, I'm about to pour my heart out and this is the energy I get from you?
Yeah, Keiichi's kind of boring.
Whom's the... Yes. I understand, like, grammatically this is correct and all that, and you can say whom's the... But I feel like I turn into Shakespeare whenever I use the word whom. Whom do I have the honor of speaking with?
I think it comes with being tied to a torture device.
Yeah, definitely. I knew parts of the later re-releases. Only Keiichi would pull whom in this situation. Yeah, even if it's grammatically correct and who is usually wrong. It doesn't matter, nobody uses it. That's not how language works. You aren't Mion. Give me back the Mion whom I was with until just now.
Who are you?
No, whom?
Huh? I think this is you.
No.
I think this is supposed to be Keiichi because when she said something, it said her name.
You aren't Mion, right?
Huh? Like I said, I'm Mion. No. Now I'm confused.
Read your lines.
It's not it. That wasn't what I meant. You aren't Mion. No, see, it is Keiichi. Why do you think I'm not the older sister?
I don't know. Just a feeling.
It's a flashback. In my mind, memories of the time Keiichi recognized me at the toy store had been revived. Yes. Even back then, Keiichi could tell I wasn't my sister Shion. I had feigned composure and offered a comeback with a straight face, but on the inside I was shook. We were both capable of becoming Mion or Shion, but because I was the real Mion and was only Shion legally on paper, reversing the roles was even more easier for me. Our tones of speech, quirks, even our auras. We had both mastered each other's habits so perfectly, even our own parents were unable to tell us apart. In fact, wasn't that exceptionally sharp, Reina not able to figure out I wasn't her best friend Mion after all, despite being so close? So why? Has this Keiichi actually seen through my disguise twice?
Is he actually not dumb?
Why do you think I'm not the older sister? My ears perked up, eager to hear the answer. Keiichi's reply was a soft murmur like an insect's whisper as he gasped for breath in pain. His voice was so quiet it was nearly inaudible, but I could almost recognize the words on his lips. Yes, just a feeling, he says. Wow. Yet again, it was just a feeling. Didn't he say the exact same thing to me that time at the toy store? How nice, how nice. What a splendid answer. You'd think why my sister of all people fell in love with him.
Wow. That needed to be twice as long as a laugh.
It's good enough. However.
However.
No, rather, it was exactly because of this. Along with my raving madness, the blood that was simmering in my veins until just now rapidly began to turn chill and coagulate. If I were to describe it, it felt like stagnant, muddy water flowing through a gutter.
I'm proud of you. You pulled coagulate out.
You have been fake laughing so often I'm starting to think it's real.
You never know with her now, do you?
I have a really hard time getting back into this now.
The trick is realizing when it's fake and when it's not, because there is a difference.
No, for like scenes like this, you need like a build-up. There's no build-up now. So
you're talking yourself out of a build-up.
Yeah, so it's just like...
Stop complaining, read your lines. Feel
it. Just feel it, man. Just feel the mass murder.
Just feel the emotions, bro.
Even now, it was all so hilarious I could fall over laughing, but I didn't smile. On the contrary, my face was vacant and austere, like a no mask of frigid ice.
The fuck is a no mask? Oh, one of those like
those
demon masks
from
my chair is breaking.
Well, it's a Japanese traditional mask. Yeah, Tengu mask.
Yeah,
basically,
like Japanese demons and stuff. No.
But why have ice?
Japanese theater with her masks. Fair enough. Because her face isn't moving, it's like solid.
But if it's a mask, it's solid anyway.
Cold is also used as an adjective to imply emotional distance, Tifa. So ice.
But so does a mask.
Imagine trying to give this person directions.
And then the darkness seeped into the innermost depths of my mind, and I was already parting with my self-restraint as a human being. I reach out and touch Keiichi's hair, matted with sweat and caked with blood. Keiichi whips his head away at once in disgust, as if he were staving off a housefly, and glares at me defiantly.
Don't touch me, you damn demon! Give her back! Give Mion back! Give me back my best friend Mion!
Having lost liberty over his whole body, he continued to howl and cry as if he were spewing blood. I was supposed to have sold my soul to the devil and become a demon, but faced with such a bitter rejection, I felt the crumbled remnants of my emotions stir within me.
One.
Thought we were gonna replicate breaking.
What?
Am I supposed to get the crunch of breaking bones?
I had to make eating sounds. I can't do it without putting something in my mouth. So I could choose either I put my fingers in my mouth, which is gonna look really weird, or I'm gonna be cute and nibble on your arm.
My throat begins to itch. The crooks of my elbows, my wrists, and every other joint in my body begins to tingle and prickle, and I feel irrationally restless. The more the restlessness and irritation piled up, the more this squalling, whimpering person beside me felt bothersome, revolting, so awful I could slaughter him right away. To be frank, until just now, I had no intention of killing Keiichi. I was truly ready to spare at least his life if he guessed the right answer. That was the rule I had decided upon. Okay, I'll admit it. Just like Shion, I had also fallen in love with Keiichi. He was incredibly silly and good-natured, unbelievably warm-hearted and gentle. Talking to him made me feel contented.
Basically, my panties dropped the moment he launched into those three guys back then in that dark alley, and he schooled them about how fake, shitty Russian porn flooded the Japanese media consumption. He just had me then, you know? If he had asked, I would have married him on the spot. No, nothing?
No, I don't really like the path we're going for right now.
That's why it's what if.
Yeah. Besides, I even sympathized with him. Unlike the lot I dealt with so far, Keiichi was indeed just a victim, caught up in my selfish revenge drama. Now that my revenge against the Sonozaki family was almost complete, I didn't mind saving him. That may sound too convenient, but perhaps the human side of me that was fond of Keiichi wanted to save him, in order to seek his forgiveness for my actions. But I've changed my mind. Having witnessed Keiichi guess the right answer before my very eyes, my heart was suffused with a stinging, gaping, overpowering darkness as if it were freezing over. Why? Why was Shion alone able to meet such a wonderful person? Satoshi-kun could only make a vague distinction between me and Shion. Satoshi-kun abandoned me and ran away. However, this Keiichi trusts Shion. He is defending Shion, whom he values as his best friend, by seeing through my lies. And as a result, he gave up on me. Detestable, maddening, despicable, enviable. So much so that I want to kill them. That's right. The moment he defended Shion, he became one of them. He's equally guilty, you low-life scum. I despise you, 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 you fucking piece of shit.
So,
that escalated quickly.
This is kind of funny in an ironic way. She goes into this whole thing with the express feeling, you know, she's like almost gamifying this to herself. He's like, well, if he guesses I'm Shion, I will let him live. And then in the plot as it happens, in the canon version, he goes, no, you're Mion. You're not Mion. You're not Mion because Mion wouldn't do any of these things. And she takes that as him defending the image of Mion, the Mion in his heart. Because clearly the person doing all of these things could not possibly be the same person. And here, he says, you're Shion. And when he said the magic words that are supposed to relieve him from all of this, and then she goes, yeah, but wait, now that he guessed it, he thinks I'm a monster. And if he thinks I'm a monster, I might as well be a monster, right? Like, he's given up on me. Everybody has given up on me. Everything sucks. I'm just gonna kill this guy now. I think that's interesting. Thank you for your deep thoughts on this topic. Rationalizations come in many forms. That is true. No, this is Patrick. Don't know which version of SpongeBob you guys in the UK had, but ain't seen this part yet.
Yeah, she already kind of lost her mind at this point anyway.
Kind of?
Maybe a little bit much.
I think by the time this happens, she had lost her mind like half a game ago.
Yeah.
There's method to a madness, or is there not? Because when he's doing all the right things, he loses. And when he is just being himself, he wins.
But in this case, he doesn't win regardless.
Correct. That's what I just said.
No, you just said with one way he loses, with the other he wins.
Yeah.
But we're going through both ways and he loses regardless.
No, he doesn't.
Then where did he win?
In the original story, as it's supposed to play out, where he clings on to the image of his best friend Mion, who would never do these things, so clearly this cannot be Mion in front of him.
I don't feel like he won in that part either.
No, not overall. He still got stabbed. He still died of a heart attack in the hospital a while later. But he won the situation.
Wow.
In a battle of convictions, he won.
Sure.
It's one of those days with Tifa.
Please, stop! Don't kill him! Kei-chan, get out of here! No, don't chew on me.
A little?
No,
But I
still feel, see?
I will do it
Still
softer.
a mark there.
Cannibalism with Jack. I'm treating Tifa's arm like a corn on the cob. Munch, crunch, munch, crunch, munch, crunch. Better?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I could be of assistance. Also, what is the sound anyway?
I think it's the demon eating away at Shion's soul.
Oh, that's deep.
That's why I try to give it cute sounds to give a contrast.
Ah, what a nuisance. Shion's screams coming from the corner of the chamber were... Shion's screams coming from the corner of the chamber were enjoyable before, but now they felt unbearably noisy and pissed me off. How about I just get rid of Shion first? I wanted to kill her after she had the most exquisite taste of anguish and terror, but now I could barely suppress the indiscriminate urge to slaughter welling up within me. Keiichi was relentlessly yelling his protest towards me. His throat closed up eventually and he gasped for breath, hoarsely continuing to demand Mion's return. Kei-chan, this may not be something pleasant to take to the grave with you, but you really seem to want to know, so I'll tell you just one thing. The demon had already been dwelling inside me for a long time. It had been gnawing at my heart, trying to spur me to violence, but I suppressed it with reasoning. The demon calmed down and I convinced myself that it had disappeared. Also, are we really gonna finish the entire chapter again from here?
We're about to find out.
As it turns out, I was wrong. The demon never left me. It had just been asleep inside me. Yes. When I learned about Satoshi-kun's disappearance, my ailing heart had crammed itself with rage to compensate for the despair. But that was the limit of my insanity. I would never have snapped. Time had healed me, and my memories of Satoshi-kun were neatly wrapped up and pushed into the back of my mind. That demon had awoken again thanks to a certain small opportunity. What do you think that opportunity was? It really was the smallest of the smallest things. This might be a strange thing to hear from a demon, but you're the reason everything got so messed up. A tear rolled down my cheek. That's right. Back then, if you hadn't given that doll to Mion, none of this would have happened. You probably can't understand. I don't expect you to. But you see, after that, everything began to topple over one by one like clattering dominoes and it got all out of hand. It's normal you didn't realize because it was so small, but as the person to knock over the very first one, you were the cause of this tragedy.
Sounds like the demon is projecting. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
It really is. Back then, if Keiichi hadn't shown any affection, Shion wouldn't have been overjoyed. She wouldn't have been overjoyed and cheerfully boasted about him to me. As I was listening to her, I was reminded of Satoshi-kun.
Oh, wait. Do you realize something?
Oh, he gave the doll to Mion.
Yes. In this what-if scenario, they assume that clashes with the story.
Yeah, but now they answer the...
What would have happened if...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah.
now she had... I think this is a typo. No, it works. Because there it says they gave it, and here Mion was so overjoyed and had so much affection for Keiichi that she got reminded of Satoshi, and that is what the trigger was this time. It wasn't the sorrow of Shion, it was her happiness in this case. So she definitely gave the doll, even though I find it a little bit weird to just jump into that.
It was still envy in the end. It doesn't change that it was envy, but it changes how it came to be. What throws me off about this, Tifa is right, at least now that you said like this, that's also how I read it. But what clashes for me is that Mion and Shion have a conversation over the phone earlier on in the game about how Keiichi hurt her feelings by not giving her the doll. And this what-if scenario, I thought the split in the road happens when he says Shion instead of you're not Mion either. But,
no. Well, now they go into it, so you know that is something that has changed.
It accounts for multiple changes along the way.
But it kind of answers the question, like...
Could he have avoided this? No.
Yeah.
No.
If he gave the doll to Shion back then, this wouldn't have happened, because that's exactly what she says in the main line. Like, hey, you caused this by doing this. But in the what if, it's like, hey, you still caused this by doing this.
First you made someone sad, now you made someone too happy.
Yeah. So there would have been no winning.
Women, am I right, guys?
Keiichi couldn't have won this one. He was set up for failure.
It's always the guy's fault. Shaking my... I know, right?
It really is. Cancelled. It really is. As I was listening to her, I was reminded of Satoshi-kun. I became jealous of her for having someone she loved so close to her. It was a very small jealousy, but it had awoken the demon who was sleeping deep inside of me. After that, I just let the demon take over. It fed upon the copious amounts of sadness I held for Satoshi-kun, and in return it committed heinous acts for Satoshi-kun himself would never be happy with, all in the name of avenging him. What? Is it not heinous? Heinous. Oh, heinous crimes. Yeah, that sounds more fun. That sounds more like a...
Heinous sounds so adorable. I mean, heinous to me, to my ears, already doesn't sound threatening. Heinous crimes have been committed.
It's like, UK slang.
Oh.
Back me up, Skinner.
It's like scones and scones. It's heinous and heinous.
Yeah.
Heine.
I learned it on my trip, mate.
I want to say, if you accidentally hurt your heinous, you have problems sitting for a while. You know?
Like I said, it's slang, you wouldn't know.
You know, the other day I got kicked with a ball in my heinous area, and now...
Hinamizawa. Exactly.
Indeed.
And now the horrific events that had followed were inviting me to the realm of demons that had no return.
That can't be, can it?
I'm not surprised you weren't aware. Even so, you are without doubt the cause of this, Keiichi. Back then, if you hadn't chosen to give the doll to Mion, we could have arrived at a different future. No, that wasn't right. Wouldn't pinpointing Keiichi's small action as the beginning be the height of transferring blame?
Yes, as a matter of fact, thank you for agreeing.
I was implying such a silly thing had awoken it inside me. Even without Keiichi's act, it would have awoken anyway. At the end of the day, it was all my fault. I didn't fight the demon. I allowed it to reside in my soul, and I readily offered it my heart.
Right in the heinous.
Keiichi didn't hide his tears. They were pouring down his cheeks. Maybe he was crying in my place, as I was not free to do so, having chosen to become a tearless demon. Also, the amount of times they say demon. This is why I must go on as the demon. There was no room for human emotions or hesitation anymore. And then... You can do it without my arm.
Munch, crunch, munch, crunch, munch, crunch.
No! What happened? Shion's wheels rasping like silk, tearing apart along with my screams of ecstasy. The last thing I heard were those everlasting reverberations. Reverberations. Blah, 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 blah. That makes me reverberate. And everything goes dark, and you die. What? Even not enjoying this one. The last thing I heard were those everlasting reverberations. Reverberations.
In a sentence!
Yeah, I think we got it. Reverberations.
I'm pretty sure that's the last line anyway. And it's just a what-if scenario. It's fine. Me when I feel sad. My name is Higurashi. Welcome in, Mame. Happy Sunday. How are you doing?
Everything he said.
Everything goes dark, and then Tifa laughs.
June.
That's my line.
1983.
No.
You can do the next one.
June 1983. A case of serial disappearances occurred in Hinamizawa village, Shishibone City. The suspect is Shion Sonozaki. Allegedly, she abducted, imprisoned and killed 4 Hinamizawan residents, Oryo Sonozaki, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furuta and Satoku Hojo, between June 19th and the 21st. Preliminary investigation into the incident was delayed at the time due to insufficient evidence, but by chance the case was solved rather abruptly. Coughing a lot while at the same time not feeling sick. But you're doing good, so as long as you're not feeling sick, I would rather not feel sick and cough a lot than not cough a lot but feel sick.
No, that's true. It sounds time for some ginger tea.
Yes, take your vitamins, get plenty of rest.
I think that's what made my cold go so fast. I think I drank like 8 liters of ginger tea in those 2 days before it was gone.
Possibly. I still am in the last throes of like my cold, my stuffy nose, and the coughing is basically gone. I'm super happy about this, but I still have a little bit of stuffy nose. Not like it's running, just every now and then I need to blow my nose.
I hope it stays like that
Yes.
for you and the coughing goes away faster.
Definitely, yeah. On the morning of the 22nd, a patrol vehicle stationed outside the Sonozaki mansion heard screams from within and personnel infiltrated the premises as an emergency measure. Suspects missing elder sister, Mion Sonozaki, and 2 of her classmates, Keiichi Maebara and Reina Ryugu, were taken into custody. However, Keiichi Maebara, who had previously been lured into the crime scene, had sustained stab wounds perpetrated by the suspect. He was immediately transferred to an emergency unit, but they were diagnosed as a minor injury. Having been the one with the utmost opportunity to engage in conversation with the suspect until the very end, he will be subject to interrogation once he has recovered from the shock. Furthermore, the apprehended suspect was found collapsed at a place approximately... There's my cough, see? Also, the text got really tiny, or is that just me?
Yeah, how nice that they finally fit everything into the line instead of having these awkward pauses.
Yeah.
Then you need to press enter and then it's like, oh, I did this. Ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like, just do it like this then. So that you already know what the scene is going or what the thing is going to be.
Also, I need bigger lungs for sentences like this. Furthermore, the apprehended suspect was found collapsed at a place approximately 2 meters away from where Keiichi Maebara was restrained and sustained scratch wounds on her throat. She was also transferred to an emergency facility but was pronounced dead at 13:48 on the 22nd. What?
Wait, so Mion, in this case, or Shion, died
Scratch wounds on her throat.
at the case after stabbing Keiichi.
The official autopsy determines that the immediate cause of death was hemorrhagic shock due to excessive blood loss. Hair, pieces of skin and blood of the 4 missing people, Oryo Sonozaki, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude and Satoko Hojo, were recovered from the hidden chamber that was discovered in the outbuilding basement of the Sonozaki family property, where they were supposedly killed. I misswallowed.
I was gonna say, did Mame trigger you?
Mame?
You forgot all about the coughing until Mame
I don't know how you managed, but your cough is transferred to me now. The entire time I was doing so well. My kryptonite, long sentences. Which is funny because I speak a lot of long sentences. It was concluded that the victims were assaulted in that hidden chamber. The victims' bodies were discovered at the bottom of an old well, as per the testimony of a victim, Mion Sonozaki. I can just imagine, it's like... In addition, investigations continue into any possible connection to the series of mysterious deaths in recent years, but no evidence of Shion Sonozaki's direct or indirect involvement has been found. There are still many obscurities. There are still many obscurities to the motive behind the incident, and due to the extreme non-cooperation from the Sonozaki family and residents of Hinamizawa, a large amount of time will be required to clarify matters on this front. The local police who are familiar with the region offer that this may have been an internal lynching incident, as punishment for sacrilegious acts carried out against Hinamizawa's religious beliefs. It has been established that the incident is unique and rooted in the regional community beliefs, and a cautious investigation has been ordered by the prefectural police. We expected to gain valuable hints from the missing person and the suspect's sister, Mion Sonozaki, who was under confinement for the longest time period, but it was observed that she had sustained severe mental trauma from the incident, and her inquiry has been postponed in favor of her psychological and physical recovery. According to her primary care physician, although her condition is fairly serious, there is a strong prospect of recovery, and she is at present undergoing rehabilitation with support from her close friends. So they got both sisters now.
Now that's enough. Now you're overdoing it. Stop it.
Not on purpose. I misswallowed for water. Again.
How can you suddenly be bad at drinking?
It's Mommy's fault. I don't know.
It's not me this time.
Skill issue, yes. Skill issue with swallowing water. You know this feeling when you like misswallow your spit or you drink something and it feels like there is like a droplet here, but you know it's liquid. I know I just drank water. This should just go down my throat, but it feels like I inhaled a dust bunny or something and it's stuck in the inside of my neck, I guess. Wait. Is this Oyashiro-sama's curse? Am I about to tear out my own throat?
It's Mame-san's curse.
Now it's your turn again.
This is still you, I think.
This is you.
Several weeks have passed since then. I died, remember? This is Keiichi.
No, you didn't.
This is Keiichi.
You have not been killed.
I was found dead next to the place where Keiichi was stabbed.
The suspect's missing elder sister was taken into custody.
Here, the suspect was found collapsed, blah de blah, away from Keiichi.
She was transferred to
but
an
was
emergency...
pronounced dead.
Okay, so you're the other sister.
This is Keiichi. I was rescued by Ooishi. I'm quite sure that's Keiichi.
I don't have Keiichi voice right now. After that incident, I was rescued by ooishi-san and his team, whom Reina had summoned. I had no other after effects, aside from my consciousness that had been wiped white. If I were to have any at all, it would have to be the deep scars that had been left inside my heart. As I was being examined at the hospital, I was subjected to various queries from ooishi-san. I tried to answer him with whatever little I knew, but I had no idea if it met his expectations, and neither did I bear any responsibility to do so. From what I heard, Shion had already lost too much blood by the time the police had arrived, and she had stopped breathing. They urgently called for an ambulance and took her to the clinic, but there was barely any time for first aid and she took her last breath. The silver lining was that Mion, who had been captive in her cell, was safe and taken into custody by the police. Did they still do the old switcheroo?
Seems to be the case, but in this situation, I'm guessing Shion stabbed Mion after swapping and left her to bleed to death for Ooishi to find her.
Up until the moment I lost consciousness, I was afraid that Shion may fly into a rage and murder Mion, but I was just glad we had managed to avoid the worst case scenario. Only, when Mion was rescued, she was emaciated and had sustained severe psychological trauma. Apparently, at the time of her rescue, she had been completely unable to respond to the police's questions. Right now, Mion is admitted at a large hospital in the vicinity and undergoing treatment for her psychological and physical injuries. In the beginning, when Reina and I went to visit, her eyes were downcast in desolation and she looked completely worn out. It was a horrible state to be in. But despite it all, as of late, she is on her way to recovery, finally well enough to show us a few smiles. Of course, we have been careful to not bring up Satoko or Rika-chan, and especially Shion. The police later conducted an on-site investigation at the Sonozaki house's underground storehouse, several days after the incident took place. Particularly, the well inside which Satoko and Rika-chan's body were disposed of by Shion was carefully surveyed by the prefectural forensic investigators, and true to Shion's testimony, the girls were discovered. Apparently, sediment had accumulated at the bottom of the well, and hence the discovery had taken several days. Along with Satoko and the other victims, skeletal remains that were several years, even several decades old were found, but it's not like I would know much about that. Even I was once summoned back to that place to assist with a crime scene investigation, but I didn't really help them find anything important. The Sonozaki family in Okinomiya, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, came home every day, several times, along with many of her followers to formally apologize. Did Akane take her sword-in-law? I challenge you! And no matter how much my parents refused, they kept piling up banknotes worth millions of yen as compensation. And once that money had piled up and reached a certain amount, on the same day there came an envelope with a letter instead. I have no idea what was written in that letter. But my parents had discussed amongst themselves for 2 nights straight without consulting me, and decided we would move away from Hinamizawa. This is the ending of chapter 2. Now we're back to chapter 2 from Keiichi's perspective, where he's in hospital.
Oh yeah, where he talks to Reina. No, was that chapter 2? I don't think that was 2.
I want to see how this goes.
And which one was it that he spoke with Reina about this? And Reina was like, oh, then I'll be all left alone. Was that
chapter
still 2?
Yeah.
Oh. But that was before he got stabbed.
No. How about we carry on and we see how this turns out?
I see. You're moving away, huh? When are you going?
At the end of next month. In the end, I guess I wasn't able to stay in Hinamizawa for even 6 months.
It's going to be lonely around here. Even Michan would be sad, you know?
I'm sorry. I don't know if I should talk to Mion about this or not. I feel lost. Once Reina had heard me say that, she strongly insisted. I had to tell her no matter what.
I'm sure you may feel it's an awful thing to tell her, but I'm sure Michan will be more hurt if you quietly disappear without letting her know. So, how about we go tell her together, okay?
Yeah, you're right. And then everything went dark and both of them died. With a pristine blade leaving a pristine cut.
Oh, I see. So Kei-chan's going away from Hinamizawa, huh?
Even though she had heard it from me, Mion whispered those words sadly, but she didn't seem that surprised. Surely she had mentally prepared herself for this outcome somewhere inside her heart. Sorry, but you know what? I plan on returning to Hinamizawa someday. I promise.
It's alright. You don't have to force yourself. Even if you come back, there probably isn't anything good for you here. Michan?
Both Reina and I wanted to say it wasn't so. But after such a tragic incident, what verbal consolation could we offer that would help to Mion, who had suffered a much greater pain than we ever had? And so we just stood there, unable to say anything, just wallowing in silence.
Maybe I should just go to Tokyo as well.
That's a horrible idea, you'll get cursed. Huh?
I heard I'll be discharged from the hospital next week. There isn't anything much for me around here either. Even if it isn't Tokyo, I just want to be somewhere far away, where nobody knows about me nor Hinamizawa. I'm not really thinking about something convenient like starting over. I'm just exhausted. I just want to throw everything away.
Mion had been forced to carry the name of the next head of the Sonozaki family and the representative of the great families, all due to a small misunderstanding. Despite feeling uncertain and weary about her unplanned responsibility, she had nevertheless been earnest and given her all to fulfill her duties. But to think all of that had been concluded in such a manner. It was such a tremendous loss that it's almost a surprise she hasn't completely lost her mind. Who can really blame Mion anymore for making such a faint-hearted remark? And so I wanted to devote even a little bit of my remaining time here for her. That's right, Mion. You want to go out somewhere together? Why don't I show you my basement?
Huh? Where?
You know, like a trip or something. I don't have a lot of time left here, so I thought we should at least recover some good memories. Tokyo's kind of far away, but how about another big city where we could try some good food and do some shopping? Well?
Well, I don't know.
This is sweet. I don't think I would have done better as a 15-year-old. But if you think about it, from an outside perspective, this girl just had her grandmother killed, two of her friends brutally murdered by her sister having done all of these horrible things, and I was like, so shopping in Starbucks? Then you feel better?
Well, she did say she just wanted to forget all of it, do something, no one knowing her, blah blah blah. I wouldn't even have known what to say from the start, so he's doing much better than I would have.
Yeah, fair. True.
I would have done the awkward, well...
Same.
It's cold, isn't it?
I think this is one of those moments where there isn't anything to say. You just be there, I guess.
Yeah, I think that sounds wonderful. You should go, Michan, okay? But... Wait, Reina, aren't you coming with us?
After hearing that, even I grew puzzled. Hadn't I suggested all three of us hang out together?
Well, I don't really want to be the third wheel, so you two should go all by yourselves. I'll be looking forward to souvenirs.
Yeah, pronounce that.
It's an expression.
Boom! Mion blushes vigorously. I was slow to react because I didn't understand what Reina was getting at, but Seeing Mion's face imbued with color after a long time, my heartbeat grew faster for a moment. No, it wasn't what I implied when I suggested the idea, but depending on the point of view, wouldn't this be an invitation to a date?
The souvenir is a baby.
The souvenir is my blingness.
No, baby. What do you call it? Godchild? Peachild? No.
What?
When you have something like a godfather and a godmother, what do you call the child?
Godchild.
Is that actually the word
I think
for
it's
it?
goddaughter or godson usually. I think it's... I think the neutral term is usually not being used. Keiichi needs to work on his timing. Yeah. Hey, Tifa. So, listen. Your twin sister just killed one of the most important parts of your family, 2 of our friends, and all the rest of everybody else you knew. You wanna go on a date? Wanna fuck?
Well, after what Mion herself has said, it makes sense. Like, he's trying to do exactly what she has offered, and I think that is really sweet.
It is. It totally is. But I agree with the timing.
You go with the
weird.
flow.
Yeah, but there's a difference between...
And it's not even Keiichi. Reina started this.
No, Keiichi did. And
no, Keiichi offered the trip, then Reina went like, ooh, you should go together because...
But there's a difference between going, I'm tired, I just want to get away from it all, and let's go on a date!
Yeah, but he did not say let's go on a date.
Also, it's got children.
Yeah, okay, fair. So that is...
Got kids. Now I'm probably getting way ahead of myself. Indeed, after seeing it that way, I was overcome with embarrassment. But there was no way I could back out after coming this far. This was all for Mion's sake. Pull yourself together, Keiichi Maebara. Well, how about it, Mion? Of course, it'll be after getting permission from the doctor and your parents. I'll make sure you don't tire yourself out, so think about it, okay?
Okay, I gotcha. I'll think about it, okay? Min-chan looks so cute today for a change. Trauma really looks good on you.
Hey, Tifa. How about if it's easier for your parents, instead of going on a date together, I'll come over and help you with your math homework. I'll show you how to divide your legs.
That was so bad.
Yes, it was supposed to be.
I had no clue where you were even going with that.
That's the beauty of that.
Wow.
It sneaks up on you and then it's just horrible. Yeah.
So bad, but also really good.
Oh, it would have worked?
No, it wouldn't have worked. I did not say that.
I will not even dignify it with a rating. Water, and I'm not coughing right now.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Suddenly, color.
Yeah,
Filter.
It turned evening. After that, we spent the day talking about harmless stuff that happened at school or in the neighborhood until it was evening. I felt like Mion had regained some of her spirit and acted a bit like she used to, so I was happy. Just get over your trauma, I said nice things. I know that's not what they're saying, but it goes really fast. And I feel like there is a difference between somebody having gone through traumatic shit and smiling for a little bit and actually being better. Because, you know, even when you're down on your knees inside, you can still smile, you can still laugh. Doesn't mean that inside you're not dead. After a few days, Mion had contacted me to say she was okay with my plan. And after spending a few more days to convince my folks and Mion's parents, we set off on a day's trip to Metropolis that had one of those bullet train stations. Oh my god, it's the opening, it's the tutorial stage from Jet Set Radio, it's a bus terminal. It is.
I don't know it.
Or do all bus hubs just look like that?
Probably. Whoa! I haven't been here in a while, but it's grown so much.
As soon as she stepped out of the station, Mion set eyes on the scenery sprawling with people and cars. She shared her feelings and excitement as she looked on admiringly. From what I heard, unless it's on a very important business, Mion rarely gets to leave a village, let alone come out to a big city like this. Because of that, everything she saw looked fresh and fascinating to her, and she pranced around merrily, almost like a child.
Hey, Keiichi, where are we going after this?
Let's see. Judging by your preferences, how about there? The place I was pointing to, when I had checked out in advance, was a massive, beautifully decorated game arcade that towered over a corner of a station shopping square. Because we need lots of seating and shade for people standing and getting off a bus. Fair enough. Over here, I want to say most bus hubs don't have that. It's more like a big parking lot where people get in and out.
Oh, they do.
You have the big bus thingies?
Yeah. You have the big thingies with a couple of seats under it.
Yeah, like 3, not like a whole building, kind of.
Yeah, but this wasn't a building either.
It was the length of a bus.
Yeah, we have those too.
Do we?
Yeah.
Apparently I haven't lived here for that long. And then they pranced around merrily. I would like that for both of them. Phew. We sure had one hell of a time, huh?
I had so much fun. It's been a long time since I played so many games at once.
As I sat down on the bench, Mion was gleefully draining her can of juice with a huge smile. That expression was unlike the gloomy one Mion had worn at the hospital. Next to me was the Mion I knew well. Earlier we had a blast, vowing to conquer all the game consoles in the vicinity and made quite ruckus without caring about the people watching. Mion was enjoying herself playing on consoles she wasn't used to and had gone on a rampage, laughing out loud, getting worked up and challenging me to matches. Although I couldn't help thinking about what-ifs as I was playing with her. About how much fun it would have been if only it weren't just the two of us, but also Reina, Satoko and Rika-chan as well. I'm sure Mion must have been thinking the same thing. Which was also why I outdid myself, making so much noise, trying to battle the loneliness, when I had realized. Hey, Mion?
What's up, Keiichi?
With faint drops of sweat coating her forehead, Mion turned her face to me with a broad smile. Mion's cheerfulness was most likely just her being considerate towards me for having brought her here. If that was so, then I needed to do the same for her. You told me it was your first time seeing those, but were you serious? You got 2 high scores on your first time playing, you're unbelievable.
That was actually 4, Keiichi. These games are all about sense, intuition and having great eyesight. It's all thanks to never neglecting my everyday discipline. More importantly, Keiichi, shouldn't you be feeling ashamed for having advantage? Shouldn't you be feeling ashamed of having your advantage used against you?
Hey, whoa, hold it right there. Remember how you distracted me by randomly pointing somewhere during air hockey and saying, "Look, what's that? That's against the rules." You're goddamn brutal.
Winner takes all, loser's gonna fall, right?
And that's why I chopped Tifa in the stomach back then. For the time being, it's alright if her well-being is a front. All I hope for is that someday this becomes real and she recovers her old cheerful self. Speaking of which, the game arcades changed quite a bit, huh? A little while ago I would have expected a dim place stinking of cigarettes, but I'm surprised I got to see so many people there with their families.
You're right. I guess hanging out like this once in a while is pretty fun too. Oh yeah, what time is it now?
The hot new game of 1984 would be Kung Fu Master, one of Capcom's first, 1942. I was actually gonna look up what arcade games we had in 87. Because... 87? 84, 85, 7. I keep confusing the timelines of Shenmue now.
Well, 84.
Yeah, 84 makes sense. Because that was before home consoles became a huge thing. Kung Fu Master is considered to be the first beat-em-up style game. Yeah, I can see them both play that together, taking turns.
Might as well.
Yeah. Is it a game about fucking Pearl Harbor? I think so, yeah.
Gotta pick your subject.
It's airplanes fighting airplanes. It's a shmup. It's not about the Japanese pulling off Pearl Harbor. At least not from my memory. I've played it like once or twice. It's around 5 p.m. now, I guess.
Oh, then it's not long before we have dinner, right? Where do you want to go before we leave?
How about fast food, like hamburgers or something?
Oh, that sounds nice. Before we go, just excuse me for a bit.
Mion sat there and stood up from the bench. I found it odd for a minute, but then I understood her intention and... They'll have toilets at the restaurants too, you know? Instead of a reply, I had empty cans thrown at me. Mion stuck her tongue out me and left in a hurry. And after I watched her retreating figure, I plopped back down on the bench and looked up at the sky. Sky was pure blue and crystal clear, and it felt amazing. Everything seemed to be glowing, bathed in that brilliant summer sun. It was a good thing we came here. Mion also seemed to show signs of recovery. Oh yeah. And I might as well try asking her if she wants to come see me at Tokyo next time. At Tokyo? In Tokyo. Also, it's Midway. It's actually about bombing Japan. It's funny if you think about it, no? That only like 40 years after World War II, like a Japanese company would make a game that becomes relatively famous about... It
probably wasn't the first one.
Attacking the Japanese. In my defense, the Google Pics contain aircraft carriers. Yeah, most shmups do. You would be forgiven confusing them. It would be cheaper if she stayed at our new place there, but I feel like our parents may be concerned for a while. We still needed some more time to go back to how it was. Then I have to look for a place she can stay at. After that... Why, hello there. Eh? Oh, hello, what? Oh no.
Well, one
I
of
have
them...
a really, really bad feeling suddenly.
You think she had a personality swap? Also, the art somehow seems off here.
It's the console re-release art style.
Hey, I'm so sorry, Keiichi. The line for the toilet was really long. Look, I brought some drinks because I made you wait so long. Which one would you like? My, Keiichi, don't tell me you fell asleep. Whoa, this is pathetic. It's not very gentlemanly to doze off on a date with a girl, you know. Did he die? Keiichi? Seriously, how long are you going to be out? Come on, wake up! Keiichi? Yeah, but also like her facial expression here seems like a completely different style. No! Bad end. Wow. That seemed so completely random. Was it just me or was that completely random?
Well, Keiichi's fate is to die a few days after, no?
I mean, yeah, they stayed in line with that, but this was... Well, technically that was... You can argue that that was Mion's fate too.
Yeah. In the canon line, he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Suddenly. Yep.
But if you want to stick to that, it seems kind of weird to still have him die so randomly to what it feels like and have Mion live.
There is, epic rap battles of history? There is one between George R.R. Martin and Tolkien. And it's one of my favorite ones because I don't recall the exact lyrics, but basically there's a bit where one of them goes, "You're just killing off all of your characters." And the other one is like, "Yeah, people dying randomly is realistic, but newsflash, the genre is called fantasy." About Tolkien not killing off his characters. So in a way, I feel like this makes sense. It feels like a stark contrast to how the story was presented so far. But especially if we know that in the canon line he dies of a heart attack a few days after the events.
Yeah, but still, I did not feel the what if route at all. And I don't know if it's because I was out of it for like a week and then just jumped straight into...
Well, you were
that
also
part.
complaining about the what if part, even though it was like 5 lines in chapter 4. I think you just have a problem with what ifs.
Well, I kind of like the what ifs, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I just don't like here in like streams like this to interrupt it and jump back.
Yeah, but either way, you're gonna interrupt it one way or another. Either you do the what if part first, and then you need to go back.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not a big fan of that. And I wasn't feeling this one.
Nah. Tifa being Tifa moment.
Could have done without this what if.
I liked it. I mean, it changed nothing. It didn't give me anything new. I found it really strange that we've got the...
Well, it did give you new things.
I found it really strange that the post-game stuff gave us 2 new tips. The Happy Diary part that was cute. Not cute, cute is... sounds like a demeaning way of saying it. I liked it because it gave us another like edge in the story of Ooishi and how he views these things. It doesn't change anything.
That gives you a bit of insight of what happened after.
Yeah. The disowned thing with Shion's mother seems strange. Like it now gives me lore for the grandmother. Which... So what has she done? Is this canon? It is, right? Because it has to be. It seemed like a flashback from chapter 5 leading into chapter 2. Am I supposed to assume that at some point in the shared meta history of Higurashi, at some point Oryo Sonozaki did something that she had to atone for?
I mean, that's probably how all of them were raised, and she was little too. She probably did stupid things as well.
Don't we all? I liked the idea of a what if scenario because this whole, oh, if he says this thing, then I will let him go. Yeah, but what if he did say that? And then we actually get to see
like.
Yeah. And then they're just trying to make the most out of it. And then unfortunately, Keiichi has some very bad luck of randomly dying, apparently.
Yeah, I just didn't really like the whole build-up, but I get you need to get a shorter bit. You can't really go into how everything went. Like Mion randomly being found dead, where Keiichi was supposed to be stabbed.
Yeah.
Like how all of these things, they just like skimmed over. It's not the main part that they want to show. I don't know.
Well,
it just didn't flow for me.
Even for this what-if scenario, was it Mion or was it Shion we now hung out with?
That's another thing. I'm guessing Mion.
I'm thinking Shion.
Could also be.
Tifa's doing a wobble. Do you need to go to the bathroom?
No.
Because from the side it looks a bit like the duck movement.
Just waddling.
I'm looking forward to chapter 6.
Yeah.
What do you think the next chapter will focus on? Wait. Keiichi. Sorry, spoilers, not spoilers. Every chapter in the Steam icon has a different character. And one for chapter 5, Meakashi, was Shmion. I think it's Shion. And chapter 6, it's Keiichi. So I'm guessing Keiichi?
I don't really remember what happened in chapter 3, but I'm guessing we're now gonna mirror 3.
So you think 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 1?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Well, so far this was chapter 2. This mirrored chapter 2 from the other perspective.
That would kind of make sense, because when we go through the story. Wait.
It might not be that order, maybe the next one goes into chapter 1, but this was absolutely answering chapter 2.
1 second. So, Higurashi, right? So we know that we have, you can see paint, right? I have horrible handwriting. I'm sorry, I'm using a mouse. Please forgive me. So we know that we have, assuming that there is some kind of timeline. Here's what I'm thinking. Wait.
Wanna bet he's gonna take the timeline I have said so many times already?
Jack version. So
I seriously doubt it will be the Jack Vev.
That's
that
an
is
R.
not an R, that is a...
Yes it is, this is straight, this is a curve.
That is a V.
Whatever.
The curve doesn't happen at the bottom. That is not an
Sometimes
R.
it does. Anyway, I'm thinking...
That is Jack Vev.
It's gonna be my new drink. So I'm thinking we have chapter 4. And then we have somehow chapters 1, 2, and 3, which leads into chapter 5. And then you're assuming like this. 7 leads into 1, 6 leads into 3, 5 leads into 2. But then I'm thinking, eight has to close it all off. So 4 was the prequel chapter, setting it all up. And then in reverse order, 5, 6, 7 led into 1, 2, 3.
What else do we have that I can still throw at him at this point?
But what does 8 do? I'm thinking 8 answers the question of what happened in the intro bit in 1.
Can I repeat this?
No, there's a cooldown because of people like you spamming my commands against me. See, I have to be right because Psycho got the Eggbird emote. Yeah. So what was your version, Tifa? Because this is the Jack version. I'll do yours in blue. Yes? What? Use your words. We don't have background music on right now.
I don't think I need to answer this question.
But why not? Did you say that? I genuinely don't remember you saying that.
Because that seems to be how it works you. Yeah, I come up with these theories. I have already set my theories on how I think the chapters will work together and how 8 is going to bring the last bits together. How the very first chapter, you have 4 there, but how the very first chapter...
Write it down.
Yeah.
I just did. Look there.
Jack only writes down his own stuff.
Tifa, no. Wait, stop. I have written things down when Tifa told me, write that down. And she hasn't done that in a while. That's her fault, not mine.
But it's fine. We can call it the Jack Fev.
But you agree with this?
It's alright.
Plus total. But you agree with this? It's not there. Yes?
Semi.
Okay, what do you think different?
The only bit I think here is different is that 1 starts it all. 4 is like a prequel.
So wait.
To everything.
Here. Do it yourself.
Why do I need to write this down?
Because I want to see it. I don't understand it.
Also, by now I don't even fully remember what is it. I feel 4 is the prequel.
Yes.
Which leads into 1.
Yes.
1 is also where the story begins. But from 1, we branch out.
Okay.
Then we have chapter 2, we have
Your
chapter
2
3.
makes me angry.
Yeah, my mouth shut out, but it doesn't matter. We have chapter 2, we have chapter 3. Now we had chapter, what was it, 5?
Can we...
5,
yeah.
which answers 2. We're probably gonna have 6, which answers that.
Okay.
Maybe 7.
Look at it! Look at the 2! Of course it makes me angry. It's like, ugh.
7, I think will go into 1, and 8 is what
I'm sorry. No.
wraps
Stop.
it all
Can
up.
you do another 8? Because what the fuck was that?
Huh.
I'm sorry.
It's the only way to do an 8.
Okay, wait. The 2 has the Higurashi lean. Yes, it does. Tifa. This is an 8.
No one does an 8 like that. That is so weird. That's upside down, basically. You start at the bottom.
No.
Why would you start at the top?
Because everybody does.
No,
how do you write an 8?
Especially if you start at the bottom. You know where the line of the bottom circle will be. If you start at the
I know
top,
where the line is going to be because it's
then
underneath
your
the top
circling
one.
will be off. Did you not have proper writing lessons or something at school?
I'm just gonna keep drawing more 8s that way to trigger Tifa.
I do gotta say though, even with your mouse, you line them up quite well.
I have a soul of an artiste. No, but really, how do you... Forget everything about Higurashi that we've done today. Forget the wonderful intro story of Tifa and me. How do you write an 8? Like, do you start at the top or do you start at the bottom?
Well, technically middle, but you finish the bottom bit first.
I start at the very top. Psycho
That must be
thinking.
a German thing.
It's a being right thing.
Germans having to be different.
I'm gonna save
Speaking
this.
of being different, that is actually a funny conversation I had in the it's YouTube. No, this is on you. This is
100%.
on the Germans. On why in the UK they drive on the different side of the road.
The wrong side, yeah.
On the wrong side of the road. And a colleague of mine said it has to do like back in the day when there were still carriages. You would want to keep your sword hand on the right and keep your left hand, it had to do with your sword hand. So that it would be harder for people to slash you, but easier for you to maybe slash others. And with carriages as well, you would want to have your dominant hand for the reins. And that's why it would be on a certain side. You can.
I'm gonna Google that. It's from
Google
Jousting
that.
on Horses, if I recall correctly. Why do British people drive on the left?
It had to do with carriages and sword hands, from what I understood. But then it was also like, okay, but then why does Europe and almost every other country drive on the other side? Can you guess why?
To hurt the British people easier.
Close. It actually comes from the time of Napoleon, where he hated the British so much. He wanted to do things different. He wanted to do things differently. So
Petty as fuck.
So he started adapting driving on the other side. Yeah, look it up. He started adapting driving on the other side just to be different from the Brits. And that is what we in the end stuck with. So it's just out of spite for the British that we drive on the other side.
According to an article by Peter Valdez de Pina, I hope I didn't butcher your name, sorry, on an article in CNN from March 2nd, 2024. Here's why Americans drive on the right and the UK drives on the left. In Europe, Napoleon Bonaparte played a central role. In the United States, Henry Ford often gets the credit, but that's actually wrong. It goes much further back than Ford. Not only does traffic on the right predate cars, it predates the establishment of the US. When do we get to the point?
I think you already skipped on why the British are on the other side. Because now you start going into Napoleon being...
The left side of a road was, by long cultural convention, reserved for carriages and those on horseback. In other words, the wealthier classes. Pedestrians, like poorer folk, kept to the right. Forcing everyone to the same side of the road, besides being good for traffic, was part of driving away with these snobby class distinctions. Blah blah blah. There's a lot of pictures and stuff.
You're better off getting another article.
Yeah, it's a beautiful article, but oh, is it long. Let's ask Reddit. Because Napoleon didn't make it across the English Channel.
Napoleon was spiteful.
It's a short version.
And went to the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
Here, if you're riding horseback, you want your sword hand... No, you actually had the article. If you're riding on horseback, or the answer... where was it? Go down. Go down. Down. Where was it?
Tifa's just making things up now.
Ah, there. If you're riding on horseback, you want to drive on the left so that you have your sword hand in your right hand in case you meet an enemy from the other direction. And also while driving a wagon, you want your right hand on the left and blah, sort of make steering easier.
You want to whip with your dominant hand, which is usually the right because you have more power in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that actually makes sense.
Napoleon introduced the practice of driving on the right to a lot of Europe. Then, when the Nazis overran continental Europe, they forced the countries to switch to driving on the right that weren't already. That left Sweden as the lone holdout until they changed to match sometime later. According to Living Ghost 371, 3 years ago on Reddit.
Yeah, that's also the bit I know. I'm also pretty sure Henry Ford is not responsible for 40-hour weeks. You should have started lower.
I agree with you, but I more agree with Psycho because before that it was more than that.
Imagine 4-day work weeks. That should be the standard.
A lot of times in history, these things came about because people complained and fought for it long enough. Because at some point there was no maximum hours. It was like just keep working until you die. And then it was like, yeah, it's fine to let 6-year-olds work in the mines. And then it's like, oh, only 8-year-old can do that now. And then it was 10 and 11 and 12 and 13. And eventually we realized maybe children shouldn't work necessarily. Maybe we should educate them first. Like all of these things. That some people are more or less trying to roll back because why not, right? Who needs rights? Everybody needs rights. Just saying, my stomach gets upset from more than coughing earlier.
Not the rights.
Just saying.
Well, as usual, I guess I will just claim the right to end the stream. Call it a night.
Week. Tifa, what are we gonna play next week?
That is a good question. I know we had agreed on something to play. Even on stream we said like, oh, we'll probably play this. And I do not remember what it is.
I had an idea last year for an amazing April Fool's stream, knowing that next week, April Fool's, 1st of April, is a Tuesday when we stream. And I didn't prepare for it because I was thinking, oh, I'll do it later. And eventually, later turned into, I will prepare it when Tifa's on her work trip. And when I got sick, and when I had to swap things around. So I didn't.
Okay.
There's no April Fool's stream this year. Sorry. Whenever I have gotten around to set the things up, we will do it whenever. Sorry.
We still need a game, probably a Mario one. Maybe. Well, I don't know.
We will find something.
We'll find
you will
something.
see it in the schedule update tomorrow. Yeah.
Basically
Oh
that,
shit. Yeah. And spoilers, not spoilers. I can tell you that I would have had it done for next week. We could have done the April Fool's thing. I have prepared last year already. I even made the thumbnail for the YouTube upload last year. That's how genius my idea was. I had to quickly make it. But I need a specific piece of software. And when I started it a while ago, I learned that it's dead. It requires an online connection, and that's gone. The company went out of business. So my software is useless. I don't know how to get things on stream. I would need to get on stream until I figure that out. Should try to say one word at a time. It's gonna be April Fool's at some point. Maybe not on 1st of April. We will see.
But yeah, for now we'll just argue about what games to play.
Yes.
Anything else?
Looking forward to chapter 6 next week.
I'm not really, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Just because it's gonna be hard to beat 5.
Even Ryukishi 07 went like, it's only gonna get worse from here. It's ramping up.
Yeah, that is true. I'll look forward to that.
So you are or you aren't?
I'm not sure yet. But that is something to look forward to, I guess. You ready to say your parting words?
I can cuff them.
Go for it.
Thank you everybody for witnessing all of the endings of chapter 5 of Higurashi. We'll be back on Tuesday with I don't know what yet. Bye.
Thank you, thank you.